Ladies and gentlemen, of late, we are seeing the bulldozer in action, much to the dislike of some people, especially in the two BJP-ruled states of Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. In Uttar Pradesh, the bulldozer Baba rolled on right after the BJP's historic electoral victory in the state. And in Madhya Pradesh, the bulldozer Mama was at work. Just yesterday, the Shehzaad government razed to the ground multiple shops and homes in the Khargon area. They were all illegal establishments, as was confirmed by the local administration. But they were razed to the ground because the state believed these buildings to be places from where stones were pelted on a Ram Navami procession on Sunday. An attack which left many injured, including policemen who were on duty there. But the opposition has added its own twist to the entire crackdown. While the debate remains over whether this was overreach by the Shehzaad government and its administration, the opposition has alleged that the only people targeted in this alleged crackdown are minorities, and that plays to the BJP-RSS playbook. AIMIM chief Ashutosh Owaisi even said that this was hate perpetuated due to the RSS ideology. Listen in.
Hate and hate perpetrated against the Muslim minority is consistent with the ideology of Sangh Parivar. Under what law can you demolish a house, assuming that they are right for a while, which they are not right? Under what law? You are violating not only our Indian law, but you are also violating the Geneva Convention. How can you give a collective punishment to the whole community?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी पूरे देश में नफरत और दहशत का बुलडोजर चला रही है। बुलडोजर चलाना है तो महंगाई पर चलाइए, बुलडोजर बेरोजगारी पर चलाइए, बुलडोजर भेदभाव और समाज में दंगे करने वाले लोगों पर चलाइए।
The Congress's General Secretary and a former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Digvijay Singh, even tried to peddle some fakery. The former Chief Minister posted a picture of what he claimed was a mob atop a mosque in Khargon, only to realize that this was an old picture from Muzaffarpur in Bihar. He was quick to delete his tweet, but unfortunately the apology is still awaited. The state government and the BJP is anything but defensive over this bulldozer style of justice. Why should we treat criminals with kid gloves, they say. Listen in.
दंगाइयों के खिलाफ कड़ी कार्रवाई जारी है। आज सवेरे मध्य प्रदेश के पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री श्री दिग्विजय सिंह ने जो ट्वीट किया धार्मिक स्थल पर झंडा फहराने का, वो फोटो मध्य प्रदेश का नहीं है। श्री दिग्विजय सिंह ने मध्य प्रदेश में धार्मिक उन्माद फैलाने का षड्यंत्र रचा है। प्रदेश को दंगों की आग में झोंकने की साजिश की है, और मेरे प्रदेश में दंगा फैलाने की कोई साजिश करेगा तो वो कोई भी हो, मैं बर्दाश्त।
So the legitimate question on the news hour that I want to ask tonight of Mr. Owaisi and the Congress party is just this. Are they giving this a communal twist just to fearmonger? That's the question and the debate. Coming up on the other side. Bulldozer Justice Rao. That's the hashtag and the debate on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight on the debate is Shehzaad Poonawala, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Dr. T.A Rehmani, President of the MPCI, Ashutosh, political analyst, joining us in just a bit. But my first question goes to Mr. Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress party. And Lokesh Jindal, a former chief minister putting out a picture right after a communal situation, after riots in the area, deletes it because the picture doesn't happen to be of Madhya Pradesh, of Khargone. In fact, it's an old picture of Bihar. Now, is this irresponsible behavior, plain and simple, or is this a design somewhere or the other to try and provoke people, create a situation of unrest, and then blame the BJP government because it's a BJP-ruled state? Straight question, and I want an answer to that. How can a former chief minister be so irresponsible as to do that?
Good evening, Navika. I have seen that tweet, but nowhere has Mr. Digvijay Singh mentioned that it is the tweet of Madhya Pradesh. It is a picture belonging to Madhya Pradesh. So the inferring that this particular picture was that of Madhya Pradesh is being done by BJP. He simply stated that he simply asked questions to Shivraj Singh Chauhan's government, that is this the form of democracy, is this the way a state has to function, and below that, for a symbolism, a picture was shown whereby certain people who were influenced by the Hindutva ideology were placing flags over a mosque, which is something which is against the very principle of respect to religion and whatever has been the propaganda that is propagated by RSS.
You are saying Mr. Digvijay Singh is innocent. He did not tweet a picture or did not mention it was Madhya Pradesh.
Absolutely.
But suddenly he deleted it because better sense prevailed on him. And he's actually a peace-loving man. He's a peace-loving man. He puts out these pictures of provocation. And every time, and please allow me to say this, that he is a repeat offender. In 2611, he finds Hindus responsible for it. Hindu terrorists, Hindu Atangwad is something that the Congress makes. And then, for him, it is Osama ji, and it is...
what about Shivraj Singh Chauhan's government?
And it is...
Vyapam scam? What about the dumper scam? Shaila Masood Mazhar, Professor Sabharwal's murder, Naresh Motwani's murder.
What does that have to do with communal tensions? Shehzaad Poonawala, excuses being made for Mr. Digvijay Singh. Respond to Lokesh Jindal.
I'll respond to Lokesh Jindal, but let me first do a fact check on your show. I have the tweet that Mr. Digvijay Singh had deleted, and let me read it out. He has mentioned the place, so this is a complete lie. Let me, for the viewers' sake, read out the tweet. क्या तलवार लाठी लेकर धार्मिक स्थल पर झंडा लगाना उचित है? क्या खरगोन प्रशासन ने हत्यारों के लिए जुलूस निकालने की इजाजत दी थी? This is his tweet. I am showing it to the viewers of Times Now. It is being shown on your screen, right there on the second line. It's yes.
So where is it written that this particular incident belongs to Khargone?
One second, Navika, I request you.
Navika, I request you. The manner that is convenient to you. You are simply trying to cover up what you are doing in Khargone.
Mr. Lokesh Jindal, sometimes
to escape from the impotency and maladministration.
You'll have to keep quiet, otherwise I'll put your fader down. Are you peddling lies on this channel? Are you peddling lies on this show? Khargone Prasasan belongs to Bihar, and this picture belongs to the New York City? What are you trying to say? Do you think everybody watching this show and everybody sitting on the panel is actually stupid? What do you think, Mr. Lokesh Jindal? How can you make a statement like this?
No, nobody is stupid. Nobody is stupid. Even the masses are not stupid.
Navika, I request
in the tweet nowhere has it been mentioned that this particular incident is
Lokesh Jindal, you know, I'm sorry, I have no patience for white lies. So I'm putting your fader down, and you will speak when I come back to you. Shehzaad Poonawala.
Thank you, Navika. So clearly lying is a pandemic in the Congress party, and particularly when the lies are being said to incite passions and provoke hatred. You have just caught Mr. Lokesh Jindal, the representative of the Congress party, lying as shamelessly as Digvijay Singh. And bar, whether it is the Tripura incidents, whether it is CA law, these people have been spreading lies. ये पहले दंगा भड़काते हैं और फिर दंगाइयों के साथ जाकर खड़े हो जाते हैं. Digvijay Singh was also guilty of trying to protect these dangais on whom action has been taken. And by the way, This is at a time when in Karoli, as Times Now has been relentlessly showing for the last 10 days, Maktub Ahmed has been missing. No action has been taken. And look the irony of this entire situation, that Karoli, when the Hindu hater is missing and has not been arrested, no tweet, secularism par koi khatra nahi. When Ram Navami processions are attacked in Jharkhand, Bengal, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and in various parts of the country, no tweet by Rahul Gandhi. But the moment action is taken on the dangais of Khargon, there is a series of tweets. Also, look at the double standards. If Hindu procession is taken out on one day in a year in a Muslim area, secularism khatre mein aa jata hai.
Muslim area. What is a Muslim area, Shehzaad Poonawala? In this constitution, there is nothing that is classified as a Muslim area or a Hindu area. I thought in the constitution we are all allowed to go wherever we want. There are no visas required to go from one area to another area, and that is my India.
Let me answer that in 10 seconds. Let me answer that just in 10 seconds. That so-called Muslim area, if a Hindu procession with permission goes out, secularism khatre mein pad jata hai. But every week on a Friday, if a bunch of people decide that they want to do namaz on the streets in a Hindu locality where there are no Muslims, that is not khatra for secularism. I have videos of 2018 where in the same Khargon, a Muslim crowd with green flags is taking out procession in front of a Hindu mandir, and the music on the loudspeaker says, "Kar denge tadi par, bulayenge Ali ko." That is not khatra for secularism. In Umerkhed in Maharashtra, an Owaisi speech is played in loud music, with loud music and that kind of atmosphere outside a mandir. That is not a khatra for secularism. In 2018 in Saranjpur in Madhya Pradesh, a loudspeaker is used and glaring music is played out with a speech.
Absolutely. And kaat denge, maar denge, all those videos are available if anybody wants to care to look at it. But Dr. Rehmani, I want to ask you, on the bulldozer first, the bulldozer which has brought down some houses, 8 Muslim houses, 4 Hindu houses. That is the ratio in which the demolition has been done. So anybody who says this is a bulldozer on Muslims is factually incorrect. Point number 1. Point number 2. Have you seen what is trending on social media? It is genocide of Muslims. And do you know what are the kind of Twitter handles that are promoting this? They are from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkey, and then a lot of people belonging to a certain ecosystem in India who have jumped into it. Dr. Rehmani, I want to ask you, 1947, this country has witnessed. Today, are we going to play on the Pakistani designs once again in 2022? Is that what we are trying to do?
I think, Navika, this question must have to be asked by our central government and our respective state government, and this is a very serious question. And I maintain that while the world is in a very ticklish situation.
No, I'm asking you because in this country nobody has recognized Kashmiri Hindu genocides, but they are worried about Muslim genocide which hasn't taken place.
You are not allowing me to complete.
No,
why you want to stop me when I speak?
Sir, because you said I should ask this question to other people. I'm telling you why I'm asking you this question.
Why don't you think that whatever you want to submit?
सर क्यों पूछ रही हूँ उसका रीजन तो बता दूं आपको, क्योंकि आप तो सवाल पे सवाल पूछ रहे हैं ना, इसीलिए रीजन बता रही हूँ आपको. अब आप जवाब दीजिए.
I said that whatever the current situations globally are there, in those situations our own country is under perturbance that we cannot afford any domestic tension in the country. That's very clear, and the government must understand it. Even if the RSS, Bajrang Dal, Vishwa Hindu Parishad don't admit or accept or understand those conditions, at least the government should understand it. And in those conditions, we are discussing, and we such kind of rowdy mob. I refuse to admit that those people who were going there with a procession, that was any religious kind of a procession. Not at all. They were the rowdy people. They have gone over there with a meticulously planned conspiracy across the 6 states, 25 places which are going to poll within this year or the next year, and this is the thing. And you are communalizing it. Everybody is communalized. I don't take it as a communal situation. I take it as a political situation which is endangering the very integrity of our nation and our country. That's what my pain and my problem is. And that you are trying to create and paint a binary that it was communal, that that particular person did well. And the bulldozers cannot run a government. I'm sorry to say.
Bulldozers cannot run. So we should allow people to gather, iron rods, stakes and bricks on their rooftops to be pelted on processions, Shobha Yatras. So we should allow that, but no action should be taken. We should follow the Rajasthan model where Matloob Ahmad 12 days running is absconding. So we should all follow the Rajasthan model that is happening in Rajasthan. वो मध्य प्रदेश में भी होना चाहिए. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, respond to Dr. Rehmani.
Good evening. Rehmani sir, please. I have been listening very patiently to all the fellow panelists. Please allow me the courtesy of 2 minutes uninterrupted. Thank you so much. Navika, good evening. Very briefly, there are 2 issues here. Let me delve into them. One, I am astonished by the shameless, there is no other word, shameless hypocrisy of those outraging that bulldozing homes of rioters is illegal. These are the same chauthi fail muppets who supported the blatantly illegal road and highway blockade of Shaheen Bagh and Singhu border in the anti-CA and anti-farm law protest for a collective 2 years. Zyada usse 2.5 saal. Tens of thousands of crores of financial loss. Tens of millions of commuters inconvenience. Tens of thousands of businesses suffered. But these jackfruits never outraged on the illegalities of these criminal blockades. Lekin aaj inko achanak law yaad aa gaya. But away from these hypocrites and anarchists, Navika, we as citizens have to care about the morality of law and natural justice. And this is my second point, Navika, very briefly. Bulldozing of the homes of rioters is, in my view, illegal and against natural justice. Let me explain. One, even if you want to punish the rioter by demolishing his home, you are punishing also his family, wife and children who are innocent. How can that be right? You can't transfer guilt or culpability in a crime to a relative. That's against natural justice too. In majority of these instances, 41 out of 56, the government is saying that the homes being demolished are on encroached land. That still is illegal and against natural justice in my opinion, because demolishing a home, even if illegal, has to be done after adequate notice according to the High Court, as life and livelihood are at stake. And I'm not even going into the fact of double standards here, of the government sitting idle and doing nothing about illegal encroachments and suddenly waking up to them. Number 3, there is, however, a 2009 Justice Hasivam SC judgment that says the property of a rioter can be attached as liability. However, it does not ask or demand or sanction demolition of the said property. So in summary, Navika, just 30 seconds. While I agree that the rioters have to be brought to book and fear instilled in them, punishing them and their innocent families through demolishing their homes is not natural justice, it's not legally watertight, and it appears to be extrajudicial. Arrest the anarchists and the rioters, punish them using the available section of the IPC. But we know the hypocrisy there as well, don't we? The government actually rewarded them when it repealed the farm laws and let off thousands of these anarchists. Basically, it is a game of who blinks first, who is the bigger bully, who is the bigger vote bank.
Shehzaad Poonawala, would you want to respond to that?
Navika, I just want to know what are the principles of natural justice that are followed when innocent victims have to suffer at the hands of these rioters? And I'm not justifying 2 wrongs, but what I'm saying is that the property is illegal. Action was taken not just on that one particular area, but on multiple areas because they were on illegal encroached lands, and therefore there are powers that are vested in the local administration to remove these encroachments, and those were done. Now it's as simple as that. If somebody has a problem with the procedural issues, they can very well move the courts, but unfortunately the bunch of people we're dealing with are those that even after conviction from the Supreme Court, they say Yaqub halat ka mara tha, Afzal sharminda hai. So if they don't have any faith in the courts of law, then what can we do about it? The action taken was on illegal properties. Yes, this is not a question of natural justice. It may be a question of poetic justice that happened to be of those people who are also indulging in the riot.
Well, I don't know if that justifies, the state falling prey to something like this. But let me get in Ashutosh.
I'm not justifying it.
No. Let me get in Ashutosh. Is the response going to be with a return on social media of saying that there is a genocide of Muslims happening in this country, Indian Muslims under attack? I want to ask you, while I'm not justifying the demolition of these houses as the way to justice, the fact is that it is not Indian Muslims who are under attack. There were 4 Hindu houses and there were 8 Muslim houses. So how is it only that we, have tears for the Muslim homes and not for the Hindu homes? Why is it being made communal, for God's sake? Ashutosh, why is it that on Ram Navami, 10 different cities in this country have seen incidents of stone pelting and all kinds of attacks on Shobha Yatras that have happened on Sunday? Can that be a coincidence?
आपने 3-4 सवाल एक साथ पूछ लिए, इसलिए मुझे जवाब देना चाहिए। पहली बात तो ये है कि ये जो बुलडोजर चल रहा है, ये शिवराज सिंह चौहान बेचारे बड़े असुरक्षित महसूस करने लगे, क्योंकि योगी आदित्यनाथ अब आगे निकल गए हैं और उनको लगता है कि अब वो उत्तराधिकारी होंगे नरेंद्र मोदी के, इसलिए बुलडोजर चल रहा। 13 साल तक ये शिवराज सिंह चौहान थे, इनको बुलडोजर याद नहीं आया, न किसी ने इनको बुलडोजर मामा कहा। तो इट्स बेसिकली एन अटेम्प्ट बाय अ पॉलिटिशियन हु हैज लॉस्ट द रेस टू बिकम द सक्सेसर ऑफ द प्राइम मिनिस्टर। सो आई हैव माय सिंपैथीज एंड आई पिटी ऑन शिवराज सिंह चौहान फॉर द सिंपल रीजन। पॉइंट नंबर 1। पॉइंट नंबर 2, आपने कहा पत्थर चले, बहुत अच्छा की, पत्थर चले, निश्चित और पत्थर चले, तस्वीरें भी दिखाई पड़ रही हैं। बट व्हाट अबाउट दोज हु आर मेकिंग प्रोवोकेटिव स्पीचेस? मस्जिद के सामने जो खड़े होके गालियां बक रहे हैं, जो कह रहे हैं बच्चियों को रेप कर देंगे, ये कर देंगे, वो कर देंगे, उनके खिलाफ भी तो एक्शन होना चाहिए।
गलत है, गलत है, पर उस पे तो एफआईआर होगी ना, उस पे आप फेक ट्वीट तो नहीं डाल सकते ना। कैन यू पुट अ फेक ट्वीट?
नविका, लेट मी कंप्लीट। आई थिंक द टाइम हैज कम when रात को 12 बजे अगर कोई आदमी कहता भाई जगराता बंद कर दो, तो उसकी बीवी को कहा जाता तुमको नंगा करके सड़क पर घुमा देंगे और तुम्हारे बच्चे को हम कब्जे में रखेंगे 6 महीने, तो तुम क्या कर लोगे मेरा? आई थिंक सिचुएशन हैज गॉन टू दैट एक्सटेंट। हु इज रिस्पांसिबल फॉर दिस? व्हिच गवर्नमेंट इज रिस्पांसिबल फॉर दैट? हु इज रूलिंग दिस कंट्री? आई थिंक द क्वेश्चन शुड बी आस्क्ड फ्रॉम अस। डू वी जस्टिफाई दीज थिंग्स कि सौरभ शर्मा has to be beaten up badly because he is raising a simple law and order issue कि रात को 10 बजे के बाद 11 बजे के बाद आप नहीं चला सकते हो, लेकिन अगर आप जाओगे तो बोलेगे तुम तो पाकिस्तानी हो, तुम्हारी बीबी को नंगा करके घुमा देंगे, उसके बच्चे को हम 2 घंटे तक पकड़ के रखेंगे। ये कौन से लोग हैं?
नहीं, फिर ये भी सवाल पूछिए कि ये कौन से लोग हैं, ये कौन से लोग हैं जो लाउड स्पीकर पर आजान पढ़ेंगे लेकिन हनुमान चालीसा होगा तो अरेस्ट करेंगे? वो सवाल क्यों नहीं पूछते?
Navika,
hands are going up, coming to...
Can I please come in? Just 5 seconds. 5 seconds.
Okay, Shehzaad.
Navika, just 5 seconds.
Yes, Shehzaad.
Sure. Navika, just 5 seconds. Navika, I have not wanted with the proof of various naras and other kinds of provocative slogans, including one saying, let's settle the score for once, shall I call Ali, being chanted by a Muslim mob outside a Hindu temple, but I did not see any Hindus pick up a stone. This justification by Ashutosh, who has some experience in patharbaji, we know what he had done outside the BJP office, to justify patharbaji and to throw weapons and to start using weapons on people, even if you were not agreeable with the naras that were used. And what were the naras that were used? Jai Shri Ram का नारा लगा था, क्या ये असंवैधानिक है? क्या 370 लागू? क्या एनओसी लेकर जय श्री राम का नारा लगाएंगे? क्या मस्जिद के बाहर पब्लिक एरिया नहीं? और दूसरी बात, नहीं सुन लीजिए, करौली में सरकार किसकी थी? राजस्थान की। क्या कर रही थी वहां की पुलिस? दंगाइयों को शह दे रही थी कि जाओ दंगा करके आओ फिर चले जाओ। मतलूब अहमद को पकड़ा नहीं गया। और ये लॉजिक जो है आशुतोष का, जब कोई घटना होती है तो जब नेहरू जी सरकार में थे तब तो गोडसे जिम्मेदार थी मौत के लिए, क्या नेहरू को जिम्मेदार ठहराया इन्होंने? नहीं, नेहरू इज नॉट रिस्पॉन्सिबल, वहां पर गोडसे जिम्मेदार। पर यहां पर जो भी हो जाए वहां पर अब सडनली बीजेपी आरएसएस जिम्मेदार, सरकार जिम्मेदार नहीं। ये कौन सा डबल स्टैंडर्ड है? दिस काइंड ऑफ डबल स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ आशुतोष इज द मोस्ट हिपोक्रिटिकल।
I do not know that. I do not know how I have become suddenly so important for the spokesperson of the national political party who is in the government and more than 10 states.
You are not important. Your double standard is at trial. Your double standard is at trial.
You are important. You are important because you are a panelist on the NewsHour tonight, debating with the political parties. So you are important because you are on this platform. So let's not belittle each other.
never thought I will be so important. Second point, उन्होंने कहा कि पत्थर मारे, अरे हाई कोर्ट ने मुझको बाइज्जत बरी कर दिया भाई साहब, भारतीय जनता पार्टी वाले, तो झूठ मत बोलिए कम से कम आप. You have been a lawyer, so you be truthful to the facts. The court has exonerated me and I face the trial. So don't worry about it. Don't spread lies, Sajad. That's my simple request. Second point is, I want to ask, what is your
तो आपके दूसरे पत्थरबाज भी ट्रायल में ही जाएंगे, क्यों इतना चिंता है आपको? कोर्ट छोड़ देगा उनको.
शहजाद आप किसी
पर ये बताइए कि अब बताइए कि आपने जो हिंदू जय श्री राम का नारा लगाता है उसको तो रास्कल और पता नहीं क्या क्या कह दिया. ये मस्जिद, ये मुस्लिम मॉब जो नारा लगा रही थी मंदिर के बाहर, उसको क्या कहेंगे? उसके बारे में क्या शब्दावली इस्तेमाल करेंगे? और करौली में जो हुआ उसके लिए वहां की सरकार जिम्मेदार है कि नहीं जिम्मेदार है? उसकी सरकार के बारे में क्या बोलोगे? राजस्थान की सरकार के बारे में.
Allow him to respond. Ashutosh, 30 seconds.
I request my friend Shehzaad Poonawala, no sorry Jahid, to go to some Muslim area and to the mosque and see what's happening over there. Second point, I think Yati Anand has been given a bail. He is still making provocative statements. He hasn't been to the jail. This fellow was saying right in front of the mosque, he's making provocative speeches. लड़कियों के साथ बलात्कार कर देंगे. What happened to him? Why the government is sleeping? Where are the two laws in this country? For the Muslims there is a different law, for the Hindus there is a different law. What's happening in this country? Are these governments so important that they can't take action against these people?
I asked you a question. मंदिर के बाहर प्रोवोकेटिव नारे लगे, किसी ने पत्थर नहीं उठाया. इसका जवाब देंगे आप?
Sajad.
नहीं.
इसका जवाब दीजिए.
You know, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, you know, all of this outrage that is happening, it didn't happen for 32 years for the Kashmiri Hindus. Why? Why only today this question is being asked of the BJP that इन्होंने कैसे बना दिया है देश को? They are responsible for turning this country into what? What was the country before this? Wasn't this happening before? Is that just begun to happen?
नाविका, अगर इतना सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्शन और आदमी में आत्म, रहमानी साहब प्लीज, आई हैव बीन वेटिंग वेरी पेशेंटली, थैंक यू. बहुत मुद्दत बाद मेरी टर्न आई है. नाविका, अगर जो आपने सवाल पूछा है ना, दैट इज द क्रक्स ऑफ द इशू. अगर इतनी अकल इन लोगों में होती तो आज ये सिचुएशन नहीं देखने को मिलती. द प्रॉब्लम, एज आई रोट इन 2017 और ये 2014 से चला आ रहा है नाविका, जब से मोदी सरकार आई है. सिलेक्टिविज्म, एक चीज को उठाना. अब ये आशुतोष इज माय गुड फ्रेंड, बट ही मेंशन्ड अबाउट प्रोवोकेटिव स्लोगन्स. आई डोंट नो व्हाट, एज शहजाद से जय श्री राम कहना प्रोवोकेटिव हो गया इस देश में? जो भी है, what he was meaning to say is कि हिंदू प्रोसेशन, रिलीजियस प्रोसेशन मस्जिद के पास से गुजर रहा है, that is provocative, slogans provocative है. He did not say what Shehzaad also added later on, that if there are n number of Hindu processions passing by the mosque, there are n+1 number of Muslim processions passing by temples. They are saying कि आज खत्म करते हैं पूरा, अली को बुलाते हैं. एक भी स्टोन पेल्टिंग नहीं हुई, वो आशुतोष बता नहीं रहे. दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम. आप एक चीज को बड़ा के बताते जाएंगे, दूसरी चीज को छुपाते जाएंगे, तो लोगों को लगेगा कि भाई इस देश में कम्युनल स्ट्राइक चल रही है, मुस्लिम जेनोसाइड होने वाला है. जबकि रियलिटी है कि इस देश में हमेशा से इंटॉलरेंस थी और इंटॉलरेंस है और रहेगी. आखिरी 10 सेकंड, आशुतोष कह रहे हैं प्रोवोकेशन, हेट स्पीच में नरसिंहानंद या जो भी उनको पकड़ा क्यों नहीं गया? आशुतोष, अगर आज लाइव टीवी पे गट्स हैं तो ये बता दो कि पॉलीथीस आर द वर्स्ट ऑफ क्रीचर्स 98.6, क्या ये हेट स्पीच है कि नहीं? आशुतोष बता दो, अगर हिम्मत है बता दो.
क्या कहना चाहते हो? हाँ है हेट स्पीच, चलो क्या प्रॉब्लम है? प्रॉब्लम, वेयर इज द प्रॉब्लम?
तो बैन करना चाहिए, होली बुक को बैन करना चाहिए. आप कह रहे हो होली बुक को बैन करना चाहिए?
एक मिनट You're spoken.
बोलो, आपने हेट स्पीच कह दिया उसको.
Do you agree with me that Narasimhan should not get bail and he should be in jail? Do you agree with me or not?
आपने कहा 98.6.
He will agree with you. He will agree with you when you give your response to what he has cited from the holy book.
Why did you say 98.6 is hate speech? Why did you say a Quranic verse is hate speech, Ashutosh? Why did you say it?
मेरी बात आपकी बात, मैं अपनी बात कंप्लीट कर लूं?
मैंने सवाल
कंप्लीट करूं नहीं कंप्लीट?
आपने क्यों कहा?
मैं सीधी सी बात कहता हूं, धर्म कोई भी हो, अगर उसमें कोई चीज तो मॉडर्न सेंसिबिलिटीज को एड्रेस नहीं करती है, आई डू नॉट अप्रूव ऑफ दैट. चाहे वो कोई भी धर्म हो, चाहे वो कोई भी किताब हो. आई एम अ ह्यूमन बीइंग हु इज इवॉल्विंग एवरी डे. समथिंग व्हिच हैज बीन
You want hate speech laws against Narsinganand. Do you want hate speech laws against the Holy Book? Bolo na.
You can't compare Narsinganand with the Holy Book. You can't compare.
Oh, really?
First of all.
Really?
One is another.
Really?
One is
you
the
just said
lumpen.
Holy Book was preaching hate. You said it. I didn't say it.
Anand, one is a.
You said.
Anand, you are trying to justify.
Me. I'm asking a very logical question.
You are.
आप suddenly कह रहे हो नरसिंहानंद को compare नहीं कर सकते. आपने अभी कहा कि 98(6) hate speech है. आपने क्यों कहा?
Well,
Anand, you are trying.
Well, 1 minute. Let me at least ask Dr. Rehmani. Dr. Rehmani, do you believe in Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi? मानते हैं आप उन्हें?
Who doesn't believe? Why this is a question?
It's a question
is
because.
It a question to be asked?
Because उन्होंने कहा था.
Even the BJP and RSS believe in
Mohandas
Karamchand Gandhi.
ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम. रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीता राम. ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान. और आप जानते हैं राम जो है हमारी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में भी उसकी इमेज है. So why on Ram Navami are we trying to justify any violence from anywhere? Because the father of the nation believed in Ram. Are you saying?
But Navika,
are you saying that in this country we have stopped tolerating?
This is not a question that who believes in Ram or who doesn't believe in Ram.
You believe in the constitution.
And Ram is unquestionable. So we are not nobody. You see, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में एक तस्वीर होने का मतलब कहीं एक शब्द राम मेंशन है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया में. एंड रामनवमी कोई पहली बार कोई शोभा यात्रा निकली है? For thousands of years, when the Muslims and Hindus and Sikhs were ruling one by one, here
why
in this country,
why were there Delhi riots here before last? Why today? Why this year? I'm asking why this year? Your own question. Why are stones found
That's what I'm asking. Why this year these riots have occurred? It was a pre-planned confrontation.
Why is there so much of hate?
I am very openly saying,
if you point finger towards one side, there will be
to provoke such kind of violence.
Isn't Digvijay Singh provoking? Isn't Digvijay Singh provoking Lokesh Jindal? The question is, when there are people like Mr. Lokesh Jindal who think that Digvijay Singh is not provoking, the only provocation is coming in from Narendra Modi. That is where the problem comes in. Because, my dear panelists, you have to look at the full picture. Partial pictures will give you only one part of the story. We will have to look at the entire puzzle to understand in which part of the puzzles are the pieces not fitting in. And if they are not fitting in, clearly we will have to find spaces which are made for them and where they will fit in. If we begin to divide this country into Muslim area, Hindu procession can't go, Hindu area, Muslim procession can't go, then clearly we are violating the Constitution of India. And that truly is the danger sign for everybody to sit back and wonder and worry about. And in a country where Kashmiri Hindus have kept absolutely quiet 32 years after their genocide in their own country, in their own state. But nobody has remembered. In fact, when their story is told, people come out and say, this is a lie, this is propaganda. But they haven't picked up arms. They haven't picked up stones. They haven't picked up iron rods. Yet, there are those who are fear-mongering and saying, Indian Muslims under attack, genocide of Muslims in India. Clearly, you are painting a wrong picture of India. Yes, there are problems, but these problems have to be solved with some degree of responsibility and some degree of accountability. Let's leave it at that. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1.